Welcome to the Afternoon Lime, where we talk real, laugh plenty, and still get into the important things that help us grow. So grab a cold drink, beer, juice, coconut water, whatever you like. Turn up the volume in your car or kick back in your favorite chair. We're here to chat about the things we all go through in the Caribbean: love, family, work, culture, and dig a little deeper into why we think, feel, and act the way we do. It's not a lecture, it's a good line with good vibes, and maybe, just maybe, a little self discovery along the way. Now, today, we're tackling a phrase we've all heard and maybe even used ourselves. That's just how I am, right? I'm sure you remember an instance where you've used that phrase. But here's the thing, sometimes that's not actually true. Sometimes what we think is personality is actually trauma in disguise. Let's talk about it. Personality is the natural, consistent pattern of thinking, feeling, and behaving that makes you you. It's partly genetic. Certain traits are wired into you from birth, and partly environmental, shaped by the people, culture, and the experiences in your life. For example, some people are naturally outgoing and love social spaces. Others genuinely enjoy quiet moments and solitude. Some thrive on structure, while others are more go with the flow. The important thing to remember is that true personality traits feel natural, not draining. It's really you, it energizes you. So, when we hear trauma, we often picture major life events: abuse, accidents, disasters. But trauma can also come from smaller, repeated experiences that change how we see ourselves and the world. This is called complex trauma, a series of emotional wounds over time. It might look like growing up with constant criticism or being made to feel your feelings don't matter. Living in a home where peace was rare and tension was real. From a psychological perspective, trauma triggers the brain's survival system. It prepares us to fight, flee, freeze, or fawn. If this happens often enough, the survival response becomes our default, even when there's no danger. So here's where it gets tricky. Trauma patterns can look just like personality traits because we've been doing them for so long. But these patterns are really adaptations, behaviors designed to keep us safe. For example, 1. Distrust of others may be described by a person as, I'm just private. But psychologically, it's often hypervigilance, scanning for betrayal before it happens. Or 2, constant need for control. This could look like being organized and dependable, but it may come from growing up in chaos where control was the only way to feel safe. Or 3, extreme independence. Independence is healthy, but refusing all help might come from a fear of being let down. 4, a quick temper could be a fiery personality, or it could be learned emotional reactivity to protect against being ignored. Or 5, my personal best, isolation. My personal trauma response is isolation. When I'm faced with a problem, I retreat until I solve it myself, because at one point in my life, I felt ostracized for making mistakes. The unspoken rule I learned was, if you mess up, you'll be judged, so fix it alone. While that kept me safe before, it now means I sometimes avoid seeking help, even from people who want to support me. My work now is to retrain myself to identify safe people, those with a balanced view of being human, who understands mistakes are part of life, and who can hold space without judgment. So, these trauma responses feel automatic because they're wired into our brain. When the amygdala senses threat, It bypasses the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational decision making, and jumps straight into protection mode. That's why we often act before we even think. It's not that we consciously choose to isolate, control, or overreact. It's that our nervous system learned to do it to keep us safe. But here's the challenge: what was once protective can become restrictive. Isolating may have protected me from judgment before. Now it can block me from receiving genuine support. This is why self awareness matters, because you can't change what you can't recognize. So, how could you tell the difference? I'm going to give you some questions that you could ask yourself in situations where you may be wondering if this is my personality or if this is a trauma response. So, I would suggest that you get a pen. So, pause the recording and get a pen so that you could write it down and take note of it. The first question is, does this behavior feel effortless or like armor? The second question, did I learn to be this way after a painful experience? 3, if my life circumstances change, would I still do this? 4, is it helping me grow or keeping me stuck? It's like carrying a heavy bag you needed for a journey years ago. At some point, you have to stop and ask, do I still need this weight? So, steps to grow beyond trauma patterns. The first step is acknowledge your origin. Be honest about where the habit came from. 2, self-compassion. Recognize it was your survival tool, not a flaw. 3, experiment with change. Take small risks to act differently. 4, identify safe people. 5, seek professional support. Therapy can help rewire those automatic responses. 6, celebrate progress. Every small win counts. That's it for today's Lime. Remember, personality is the truth of who you are, and trauma patterns are the armor you build to make it through hard times. Both are valid, but one will help you shine, and the other might keep you in the shadows. So the next time you find yourself saying, that's just how I am, take a breath and ask, is this really me or is it my past talking? If today's line made you think, share it with someone who needs it, and we'll meet right here again for the next afternoon line. Same vibes, same honesty, same Caribbean heart.